Have you or someone you know ever pulled an all-nighter working on homework or stressing about school? Would it be easier if you were graded on a 4-point scale or a 100-point scale? This is the difference between standards-based grading and traditional grading at West Branch High School. If you have been involved with the American education system, then I'm sure you've heard about standards-based grading. Standards-based grading is when you're graded on a 4-point scale instead of a 100-point scale, and you get letters such as an E, S, C, D, or N, instead of getting grades as A, B, C, D, F. What you learn in grade school can define whether you're career and college ready. I have experienced the effects of both standards-based grading and traditional grading in high school. I have also done additional research on the subject. If we change back to traditional grading and change a few aspects of our grades, we would better reflect our knowledge. Some may ask why grading has become such a rising issue at West Branch High School. A couple of years ago, it came to our attention that out of 20 seniors who got 4.0s, only about 9 of them got above a 21 on the ACT. They thought standards-based grading would solve these problems, but it has just created more. According to Reading Solutions 12, a blogger, some of the main problems of standards-based grading are confusion, how is a 4-point scale more accurate, and does it really help students become career and college ready? Since we have more issues now, I have found a solution that would solve the standards-based grading problems and would also reflect the knowledge that students actually have in their brains. Traditional grading without the extra credit. Each problem now has a solution. Without extra credit, students do not gain extra points without learning anything. Like in a science class, you might get extra credit for bringing in recycling items, but that doesn't actually mean you learned anything. So if we eliminate extra credit, we eliminate those points that don't actually mean anything. Parents, teachers, and students understand what the grades mean, and they can easily be transferred to colleges. It's confusing in standards-based grading because most parents don't understand the process, and even teachers sometimes have a hard time understanding. Around West Branch High School, we have many signs up like these that explain to students what they have to do in order to pass a class. This one in specific says, please remember, in order to pass a class, you must have it competent or above in each assessed standard. So students are constantly confused, and teachers are constantly having to worry about grades and not actually what they're teaching. I personally think a 100-point scale is more accurate than a 4-point scale, and I think that just makes sense. Students would study and actually learn to be career and college ready. I have surveyed 5 students in the West Branch area, and all 5 of them said that when we had traditional grading before, they actually thought they studied more and they learned more because it wasn't just assessments that counted. As you can see, if we go back to traditional grading and do it right, the issues that have arisen will be solved. Now, many of you are probably wondering what this will look like. Students would be given points for homework, so they have incentive to study and do more work outside of class. Because if it's just assessments, then you just learn what's for the assessment, and then you take the assessment and you forget it. You don't actually learn the material. This would be beneficial because it would get rid of a ton of stress, so students can focus on learning and teachers can focus on teaching. I know that this solution would work at West Branch High School because I've experienced and can honestly say that I learned a lot more with traditional grading. Now you have heard about the problems and the solution to standards-based grading at West Branch High School. If you bring back traditional grading, students and teachers would focus more on what we are learning rather than how we are grading it. This should be the difference in your child's career and college readiness. Now it's your turn. Stand up for what you think should be grading at West Branch High School and let's get rid of standards-based grading.